Hello. Before we begin, I want you to do one thing. Close your eyes and imagine this planet without birdsong, without forests, without polar bears, without coral reefs, without breath. Close your eyes for a moment and listen. Can you hear the sound of the wind moving through the trees? The call of a bird in flight? The whisper of water flowing through a forest stream? Now imagine those sounds fading. Imagine waking up one day and the forests have fallen silent. No more birdsong, no rustling leaves. Just quiet, a quiet that feels empty, heavy, wrong. That silence is not just a possibility. It is already happening, in places you may never visit, in ecosystems you may never touch. The sound of life is vanishing. We are living in the middle of a mass extinction. Not in the future, not someday, now. The earth is losing her voice. And we are still scrolling, still consuming, still burning, building, extracting, still pretending it's not that urgent. But it is. This is not a message of fear. It is a message of awakening. Because fear can freeze you, but awareness can move you. Awareness can spark action, and action, multiplied by millions, can shape a different story. The truth is simple. The earth is burning, and it's not a metaphor. In the past few years, we have witnessed entire forests. The Amazon, Siberia, California, Australia, erupt into flames. Not small, natural fires, but mega fires, unstoppable, fueled by rising temperatures, dry soil, and decades of deforestation. Trees, millions of them, reduced to ash, animals, trapped in smoke, fleeing flames, or not fleeing at all. It's easy to look away, easy to tell yourself, it's far away, it doesn't affect me. But every tree that burns releases carbon that heats the entire world. Every species that disappears takes with it a piece of the balance we all depend on. We are part of this earth, not apart from it. And when nature falls, we fall too. The air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink, they all come from ecosystems. From balance. From forests that stand, oceans that thrive, soils that breathe, and that balance is breaking. Let's talk about numbers, because numbers can feel cold, but they carry truth. Right now, over 1 million species are at risk of extinction. 1 million. Many may vanish before we even discover they existed. Rhinos, orangutans, coral reefs, bees, sea turtles, birds that once filled the skies, now silent. It's not just about beauty, it's about survival. Each species is part of a web, and when one thread breaks, the whole web weakens. We are woven into that same web, and still, we are tearing it apart. Let's pause, take a breath, not to despair, but to reconnect. Ask yourself, when was the last time you walked barefoot on grass? Or listened to the sound of leaves in the wind without distraction? When was the last time you watched a sunrise and truly felt that the world was alive beneath it? We are not separate from nature. We are nature. We are walking forests, breathing oceans, living earth, and yet, we forget. You might be asking, what can I do? I'm just one person, and that question is valid. It's honest, it's heavy, but let me remind you, movements have always begun with one person who chose not to look away. One person who asked, what if I tried? That you were too busy, too small, too afraid? Or will you say, I woke up, I learned, I tried, I changed what I could, I used my voice, I stood for the planet that gave me everything. This is not a guilt trip. This is a call home. Back to the rivers, the roots, the soil, the stars. You were not born to destroy. You were born to remember, to restore, to protect, to love this planet, not as a stranger, but as a child of Earth. Because you are, you don't have to do it all. But please, do something. Refuse single-use plastic. Plant a tree. Reduce waste. Speak up. Vote for the Earth. Educate yourself. Teach someone else. Support reforestation. Eat mindfully. Buy less. Slow down. Reconnect. Every act matters. Every voice counts. Even yours. Especially yours. Let this be the beginning. Not of fear, but of fire. The right kind. A fire in your heart. A burning love for the only home we have. Let this be your reminder. That Earth is still beautiful. Still alive. Still worth fighting for. The Earth is what we all have in common. Wendell Berry, you're still here. Still listening. That already says something about you. It says you care. Even if you feel small. It says you're awake. Even if you're still learning how to act. It says you believe, deep down, that things could be different. That we could be better. Because the truth is, the cost of silence is everything. When we don't speak up, forests burn quietly. When we don't act, species disappear quietly. When we scroll past, ice melts quietly. And when we pretend not to see, people suffer quietly. But the planet does not care if we are uncomfortable. The planet does not wait for us to feel ready. She is moving, changing, responding, and so must we. Let's talk about the human cost. Because climate change is not just about trees and animals. It's about people. It's about you. It's about the child whose home was swallowed by rising waters. The grandmother who lost her farm to drought. The communities who can no longer breathe clean air. The cities drowning slowly while the world watches. This is not a future problem. This is now. And it is not happening in one place. It is happening everywhere. Just in different ways. Look at the floods in Pakistan. The wildfires in Canada. The rising sea swallowing islands in the Pacific. The hurricanes intensifying year after year. The heat waves breaking records. Then breaking them again. The water crisis in Africa. The crop failures. The food insecurity. The forced migration. The wars over resources. And ask yourself, is this normal? Or have we simply adapted to destruction? We are good at normalizing pain. We are masters at tolerating the unbearable. As long as it doesn't touch us directly. But it will, and it already does. Do you notice it in the air? In the water? In the rising price of food? In the anxiety that creeps in when the news shows orange skies over cities? That's not distant. That's not someone else's future. That's all of ours. Take a breath here. Let the reality sink in. Not to overwhelm, but to awaken. Because numbness will not protect us. It will only delay the damage. Delay the healing. And every delay has a cost. I want you to imagine a child. Maybe your own child. Maybe someone else's. Imagine them asking you, years from now, why didn't they do more? Didn't they see it coming? And what will we say? That it was too hard, too complicated, too inconvenient. The truth is, we saw it, we knew, we just didn't move fast enough. But it's not too late. Not yet. Yes, the damage is real. Yes, the systems are broken. Yes, the time is short. But this window we still have, is still wide enough for action, for revolution. for transformation. This is the time to remember that we are not passive observers. We are participants. We are citizens. We are the living edge of what comes next. And the future is not written in carbon. It is written in choices. Choices about what we value. Choices about what we protect. Choices about how we consume, how we move, how we speak, how we raise our voices. And yes, individual actions matter, even if they feel small. Because every movement was once a whisper, every transformation was once just an idea, every ripple was once just one drop. So let's talk about those drops, those tiny shifts that make a wave. You choosing to refuse that plastic bottle, you choosing to walk instead of drive, you supporting local farmers, you planting a native tree, you joining an environmental group, you raising your voice in your school, your workplace, your city, you voting with intention, you using your platform, no matter how small, to tell the truth. These are not trends, these are seeds, and when planted by millions, they grow forests of change. Let's not forget, the earth is not asking us to be perfect. She is asking us to show up, imperfectly, inconveniently, consistently, because the cost of silence is no longer acceptable. It is too high, too final, too irreversible. But the cost of action, the cost of caring, that's something we can live with. That's something the next generation can thank us for. Now pause again. Think about one thing you can do differently this week. Not 10 things, just one. What would it be? What small shift can you make today that honors the life this planet gives you every moment? Maybe it's starting a conversation. Maybe it's refusing a product. Maybe it's writing a letter. Maybe it's taking responsibility. Not with guilt, but with love. Let that intention rise in you. Hold it, own it, act on it. Because here's the truth. The most dangerous thing we can do now is believe that someone else will fix this. They won't. We will. Together. Messily. Clumsily. But together. And that is where power lives. Not in perfection, but in participation. This is not just about carbon footprints. It's about soul prints, legacy, care, the kind of ancestors we will become. This is not just a crisis. It is a calling to protect what is sacred, to fight for what is still alive, to rebuild what has been broken, to remember who we are as children of Earth. So don't go quiet, don't go numb, don't shrink away because it feels too big. Go deeper, go braver, go together, because silence is no longer an option. In a gentle way, you can shake the world. Mahatma Gandhi, you're still here, still breathing, still listening, and that means something. It means you haven't turned away, you haven't shut down, you haven't surrendered to the story that says it's too late, because maybe, deep down, you still believe in another ending, and that belief is not weakness, it's power. Hope, you see, is not a feeling, it is a decision, a discipline, a practice. Hope is not something that shows up at your doorstep, fully formed. It's something you choose, again and again, especially when it's hard, especially when it hurts, especially when the news says, don't bother. Hope is not passive. Hope is not blind. Hope is not naive. Hope is courageous, because it dares to say, I will not give up on the world, even when the world seems to be giving up on itself. We have been taught that the world is broken beyond repair, that it's too big, too late, too far gone. But what if that's not the whole story? What if healing doesn't happen in headlines, but in homes, in habits, in hearts? What if every person who believed They were too small to make a difference. Simply started trying. What if we redefined victory? Not as saving the whole world at once, but saving a piece of it. Right where we are, there are people already doing this. Quiet heroes, unseen change makers, farmers restoring soil by hand, communities building solar power from scratch, children planting trees, elders teaching respect for the land, scientists who refuse to stop fighting for the future, artists who turn grief into music, movements led by the youth, not waiting for permission to change everything. Change is not coming, it's already here, it's in motion, it's in the ripple of your choices, it's in the words you speak, the stories you share, the questions you ask. We need systems change, yes, we need policy, we need innovation, but we also need something deeper, something older. We need connection to the earth, to each other, to the truth that we are not just individuals struggling to survive. We are a species learning to belong again, because somewhere along the way we forgot that rivers are sacred, that trees are relatives, that air is not free, it's a gift, that food does not come from stores, but from soil. We forgot that to take care of the earth is to take care of ourselves, and that to harm her is to harm our future. But remembering is possible. It happens slowly, in moments, in gestures, in listening. Every time you step outside and notice the sky, you're remembering. Every time you recycle with intention, every time you choose reusables, every time you support someone doing the right thing, you are remembering. You're saying, I want to live differently. I want to belong to something more than profit. I want to honor life. And that matters, even if no one sees it, even if it feels small. It matters. Let's be honest. You will not be perfect. None of us will. You will still take flight sometimes. You will forget your reusable bag. You will buy something wrapped in plastic because it was the only option. And that's okay. This is not about perfection. This is about integrity, about doing the best you can with what you know, and then doing better as you learn. Start where you are. Start with what you have. Start now. Plant something, even if it's small. Say no to something, even if it's hard. Talk to someone, even if your voice shakes. Vote, march, donate, volunteer, create, write, sing, organize. Just don't stay still, because the earth does not need more despair. She needs more people who refuse to go numb, who refuse to be cynical, who refuse to let apathy win. The future is not a given. It is not a destiny. It is a direction, and we are choosing that direction with every single decision we make. Will we turn toward life, or away from it? Will we rise, or retreat? Will we fight, or fade? These are not theoretical questions. They are real, they are urgent, and they are ours to answer. No generation has faced exactly what we are facing now, but no generation has ever had as much power to change it. You are not just living through history, you are shaping it. So what will your story be? Will you be the one who stayed asleep when the world needed you awake? Or will you be the one who showed love imperfectly? Yes, but fully, with your heart open, with your hands ready, with your love turned outward, toward this earth, that still gives us everything. Despite all we've taken, hope is not something you wait for. It's something you build, brick by brick, choice by choice, word by word, act by act, and the world, though hurting, is still listening, still responding, still alive, still beautiful. So here, now, with the wind in your lungs, earth beneath your feet. Choose. Choose to care. Choose to show up. Choose to believe that the story isn't over. Because it isn't. The ending has not been written. And you are holding the pen. The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. Robert Swan.